Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. The big fight is finally here. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. Right. First of all, I've got to say, the build-up and the promotion, everyone knows my thoughts. I think Dillian Whyte was absolutely disgraceful in his behaviour, the lack of promotion, the disrespect to the fans, the media, sponsors, everyone else. Everyone in boxing, really. I'm not going to go on too much about it. He's done what he's done, right? So I'll draw a line under it. But still, the fight week. It's not been the fight week it should have been. Don't care what anyone says. It's not been the fight week it should have been. Obviously, I can't wait for the fight, but I've not got that feeling that this fight should have produced. I've not. Can't wait for it, but there's something a little bit missing. The press conference. I mean, what was that? Was that an afternoon tea party? I mean, I don't understand it. I think Dillian Whyte's missed a trick, right? And I'm going to tell you why with the promotion. I think he's missed a big trick because, especially with all the talk with Daniel Kinahan, which I've gone on about in my previous video, so have a watch of that. All the talk with Kinahan and everything else, you can say that is Fury a bit distracted, right? Has he got things on his mind? I think if Dillian Whyte really would have pulled it on Fury in the promotion, and I mean really put it on him, really went at him. And look, people can say it doesn't really make much difference in the fight. It doesn't, but it can make a tiny bit of a difference if you really if you push a narrative. And I think Whyte could have really pulled it on Fury. And all right, he might not mention the Kinahan stuff or whatever, but it's just, Fury would have had to deal with that as well as the Kinahan stuff. And I think Dillian Whyte, his plans backfired. The plan to sabotage the promotion backfired because people have bought tickets. The pay-per-view sales, I think it will have an impact. Of course it will, especially outside the UK. Obviously, we won't know till those numbers are revealed. But I think from a mindset point of view, everyone's saying, oh, Dillian Whyte's, he's got in Fury's head by not saying anything. But I think that's the complete opposite. Let me tell you something. I think it was a masterstroke by Tyson Fury at that press conference. I think he wanted it to be all nicey nice, right? I think Dillian Whyte should have gone in there, right? Like the Dillian Whyte he used to be, that street kid. I'm fucking coming. I'm taking over. This is my belt. You're getting it. Well, you're shaking hands, nice and nice. It was just like he was happy to be there. Now, I know Dillian will go out on his shield and he will fight. He's a tough man. I don't care what anyone says. That guy is made out of tough stuff, right? Extremely tough bloke. But I think he should have gone in there and said, I'm going to be the champion. Your belt's mine. There was none of that. Will it make a difference in the fight? No, but still, maybe it would have made a little bit of a difference. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen it. I would have liked to have seen him really go in there and pull it on Fury. He didn't. And I think Fury wanted that. And I think, especially with all the Kinahan stuff, I think Fury's got off scot-free with the promotion. It suited him down to the ground not to promote a fight, not to come out and say certain stuff and push the fight. He's happily gone back to his training camp and trained. So I think Dillian Whyte's missed a trick with that. I think it's backfired. And I think Tyson Fury has won the mind games. That's what I think. Now, my final thoughts on the fight. As I've said in my video on Monday, there seems to be a lot of Dillian Whyte fans that have come out the closet. I keep hearing what Dillian Whyte is going to do. His good jab, good body puncher. If he's going to back Fury up. It's like, again, people are just dismissing what Tyson Fury can do, right? How can you compare Dillian Whyte's performance to Parker, to Povetkin, to Rivas, when they are small men who don't have the attributes that Tyson Fury have? I keep hearing everyone referring to the Deontay Wilder, the last fight, as if that's the only fight Fury's ever had in his life. You've got to remember, Fury didn't want the fight. No one wanted it, right? He had tremendous issues before it, personal reasons, personal things with his daughter, other issues, he didn't look in shape, and I think it's a big mistake just to go off that. And again, people are doubting Tyson Fury yet again. What I think about Dillian Whyte is he's improved a lot as a fighter. He's completely overachieving. When he turned professional with limited amateur experience and coming from a kickboxing and MMA background, even to win the British title, he would have pulled up trees. You would have said, that's a good career. But the fact he's turned into a world-class fighter, his hard work and dedication and just commitment to the craft, and fair play to him, right? He's got my utmost respect for that. But the guy is limited as a fighter. Now, I actually think that street kid out of him, that toughness, has been coached out of him, similar to AJ in a way. Now, I'm going to explain. Yes, as Dillian Whyte's gone through the levels, he's had to mature as a fighter. He can't just steam in. He's been caught a few times. He's been knocked out a few times. And he's been wobbled a few times, especially sometimes later on in the fight. So I think he's had to reserve his gas tank. I think he's learned to go the 12-round distance, right? He's now a 12-round fighter. And he's learned how to work on things in there. But the opponents he's been up against, you can do that, right? Against Marius Vac and all these other fighters, you can work on things. You ain't fighting Parker or Rivas. You're fighting Tyson Fury, a 6'9" monster who moves like a lightweight, who has hand speed like a lightweight, who has power. I keep hearing people saying Fury don't have power. I mean, I think the people who say that, and this is no disrespect, these are people who haven't been in a boxing ring before, right? And my outlet isn't just for hardcore fans. It's for everyone, whether you're first watching boxing, whether you're a casual fan, whatever. It's for everyone. Right, and I'll try and explain it to you. You've got to understand, if Tyson Fury hits you with a right hand, that's going to play an effect. No one is walking through a 6'9" heavyweight. I don't care how hard you think he hits or doesn't. Right, he's 6'9", weighs over 20 stone, even if it's 19 stone. Right, if you get hit on the chin with accuracy, you're going to fucking feel it. So if Tyson Fury hits you with a right hand, he might not knock you out first time, but he'll soften you up and it's going to shake you to your boots. He catches you again and again. And if that's later on in the fight when your energy's gone down, he'll take you out. So he can bang. He's not a concussive one-punch puncher like Wilder, but he certainly don't think he's a feather duster. That's just ridiculous. Nonsense, right? Believe me, if he hits you, you're going to know about it. You can't take too many shots from Tyson Fury. However, I think for me, for Dillian Whyte to win this fight, he's got to go back to that street kid. He's got to pull it on Fury. A lot of his fights now, he likes to dictate the pace. He likes to be comfortable. It's a nice rhythm. It's not ferocious. It's not all in your face like it used to be. It's very simmered, and he's working out things, and he's looking at how to figure out his opponent and seeing what's coming back. And that's all good and well. That won't work against Tyson Fury. If you let Fury dictate the pace, you're in a world of trouble. If the pace becomes a boxing match, a chess match, I think Dillian Whyte's in a lot of trouble. For me, he has to pull it on Fury. He's got to set about him, breathe on his chest, get on him, right? Push him back. He can't be relying, as much as he can't be relying on his boxing ability, right? Has his jab improved? Yes. But his jab isn't like Tyson Fury. Let me tell you the difference. Tyson Fury's jab, it comes with variation. He screws it. He can do a screw jab. He can double it up. He can treble it up. He can go to the body, right? He can ramrod it home. He can burst you with a jab. It can be fast, you know. There's different tempos in his jab. That is the difference. Dillian Whyte's jab's improved, but it's just basic to the body, to the double jab to the top. It's not really, there's no variation in it. So I think Fury will work that out pretty quickly. I don't think that'll be an issue for him. And I think people are forgetting that. Whyte has to get back to that street kid. And as I mentioned before, I think it's been coached out of him. And I think that press conference, I think that did reveal a lot. I might be looking into things. It's my job to look into things, right? That's what I'm here to do. I might be wrong. Maybe it'll make no difference, but I think it was too simmered. And I think, is that a reflection of the fight? I think Fury deliberately wanted it to be nicey, so it's all controlled, and because that's what Fury wants this fight to be. He doesn't want it to be a high tempo. He wants it to be low and simmered and boxing matching, feints and let him get the jab out and then fucking lay the right hand on, you know? That's what Fury wants, and I think that was done on purpose. I really do. I think Whyte should have gone into the press conference, fucking put it on him, right? And then I want to see that in the fight. I don't want to see him dictate. I don't want to see him be dictated to. I don't want to see him simmer down. I want him to really go about it, right? Prove all the talk, back it all up, right? Go out on your shield, right? Clearly, you can't just walk into someone. You've got to use educated pressure, but I want to see it. I want to see him assert his dominance, right? But I don't think that will happen. I think it's been coached out of him, and his boxing ability, I think he thinks he's better than he is. When Tyson Fury's in front of you, it ain't Povetkin, it ain't Rivas. It's different fucking story. It's a different conversation, right? When he's fainting and you think, and you fall for a feint, and all of a sudden a right hand comes over the top, you're going to be wary of that, right? And then he feints to the head and he comes to the body, and then he whips a left hook, and then an uppercut comes in, and all of a sudden you're like, right, okay, I can't get a read on this. Does Dillian Whyte have the boxing IQ and ability to download that data, read it, and then change course, right? I don't think he has. Now, look, I might be wrong. I've said through the whole build-up, this is Tyson Fury's fight. He'll win it. Whyte is dangerous, but for me, he's just levels above boxing ability-wise. And look, it's heavyweight boxing. Of course, he has a puncher's chance. Of course, he has a chance, right? But I'm sticking to my guns, and I might look stupid, but you know what? I fucking go out on my shield in a media sense, should I say, right? I will stick to my opinions. I don't do hate, I don't do emotion. I might be passionate, right, but I certainly don't hate someone. I back things up with valid arguments. I might drum my point home, but it's always with a valid argument. And you can't deny the fact that Tyson Fury is an elite fighter. There's too much talk for me of what Whyte is going to do. Not enough of what Fury's going to do. The dangers that Fury possesses, how is Whyte going to overcome that? What's he done in his career to suggest he can? You know, he's got to remember he's not fought for a year, right? What's the timing going to be like? Fury's fought his last fight against Wilder. Okay, it was a war. It might have took some out of him, but at least he's active, you know? So timing's not going to be a problem. It's coming off back-to-back camps, isn't it? So I think people are being confused again because they want Fury to lose. I know there's Dillian Whyte fans, no problem. Have your opinion. But for me, when you're giving an opinion on this and it's just discrediting everything Fury's done. Oh, Wilder's a one-punch trick pony. Oh, he's beat no one. Who's Fury for? I mean, I had someone say to me, who did Fury beat to become mandatory to Klitschko? Like, just trying to look at everything to discredit his performances and his achievements. Guys won every belt in boxing, right? Undefeated, won every heavyweight bout. What more can he do? And if he wins this fight, again, there'll be people coming out, oh, he's scared of Usyk, don't want to be undisputed. It's just never ending, right? But if you look at my last video, as I've said, I have pointed out where I think has the Kinahan stuff affected Fury's preparation. So have a watch of it. I do delve into that. So that might play an issue. I'm not going to say. People are thinking, especially after that Sky Sports interview, is Fury rattled? Has this Kinahan talk affected him? So maybe it has done, but I think with fighters, right, I've seen fighters in camp, and if you don't know a fighter, then it might be hard for you to actually understand what happens in camp. Camp, especially at elite level, world title level, they're just closed off. There's no outside noise. There really isn't. It's training, sleeping. That's it. Playing video games. That's all you do for 8 weeks. So I don't think really the Kinahan talk would have affected him. But I am looking forward to the fight. I really am. Could it be a 12-round snooze fest? I know some people have thought that. I've said it. It could be. Could be a Derek Chisora too. Fury could turn southpaw and just fucking bamboozle Whyte, make it a snore fest, win on points. I think that could happen. Will it catch fire, the fight? I don't think it'll be as an exciting fight as what people think. I might be wrong. I don't know. I can't get it right all the time. Boxing is boxing. Maybe there's a cut. Maybe something happens. I don't know. You know, maybe there's a knockdown. Who knows? Things can happen in the fight that changes the fight. The fight can change completely on its head. But I think Fury is just levels above, and he'll prove it again. Dillian Whyte doesn't have the foot movement for me. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't have the boxing IQ. And I don't think he has the ability to deal with what Tyson Fury can present him. This fight isn't what Dillian Whyte's going to do. It's what Tyson Fury shows up. If it's a Tyson Fury that's a bit damaged and the Wilder fight's taken a bit off him, the Kinahan talks affected him, then that will even things up, and then maybe it is a closer fight. Maybe Whyte can win. If that happens, I'll hold my hands up and I'll say. But ultimately, my prediction is Tyson Fury will outbox him for the first 3-4 rounds. I think he'll back him up easier than what people think. I don't think people expect him to stand in the pocket with Whyte. I think he will, because I think if he gets in his head and he pushes Whyte back, then he's taken away that threat. He's negated a threat of Whyte coming forward all the time, because then Whyte's going to think, fuck me, I can't outbox him, I can't get him on the inside, I'm in trouble here. So I think you'll see a bit of that. I think Fury want to assert his dominance. I think he will go in the middle of the ring, and I think that Kronk style, I think he has, there is more aggressiveness in him, right? And I think he's planting his feet more, and he's looking for the knockout. He's not just trying to go get on his bike for 12 rounds. I expect him to, the jab to win the fight, as usual with Fury. I think that jab is that good. It's elite level. I think that will win in the fight, and then the right hand will come, and I think Whyte will cop a few right hands, and as it gets later on in the fight, and Fury's leaned on him, he's tired him out. He might not be able to do it as easily as he did with Wilder, but there will be elements of that. Fury's very clever. When I say boxing IQ, it's not just about fancy foot movement and fancy combinations. It's smart. It's tying your opponent up, leaning on him, breathing on him. Little shots to the body that take you, little shots to the back of the head, making it dirty, making it uncomfortable. He's very clever at that, Tyson Fury. So I think they will play dividends as the fight progresses. And later on in the fight, I expect Tyson Fury to just poleaxe Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte will go out on his shield, but it will get put to kip. Who knows, though? Let me know your thoughts, finally, right? Do you think I'm talking sense? Are you going for Dillian Whyte, or are you going for Tyson Fury? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.